We saw our first company close and we had to make people redundant. That can really, really weigh on you as a leader. You know, you can really start to reflect and think, gosh, was I doing the right thing? Was me being in a company of my own the right thing? Should I go to work? Should I work for somebody? Being resilient, being able to bounce back from things is a skill that we master after we've fallen down many times. You know, we say a baby falls down and it gets back up, and it falls down and it gets back up until it learns to walk. And that's what our walk is. That's what our life is. Watching our offices shut and having an entire office, I mean, office could fit 15 people in there, moved into the garage of a house wasn't a nice experience. Letting people go wasn't a nice experience. And questioning yourself, questioning your failure isn't a pleasant experience. But we have to carry on and we have to lead and we have to learn. I particularly learned a lot from that experience. I learned that we didn't pay enough attention to what was happening around us. Being aware and not sticking your head in the sand as we did will absolutely support you in your resilience, because at least you could see it coming. You can't stop it, but at least you can be prepared to see things coming. One of the most important scriptures that we've adopted in this season is how we build our foundation and how we build from the bottom up. So we're really sure that we don't build it with straw or with sand, but we build it strong so that when the fire comes, we can stand strong. Our foundation and our roots down into Christ are what are going to keep us becoming and still being resilient moving forward. I've spent a lot of time reflecting and looking at the things about myself that I need to fix up on. So I know I procrastinate quite a lot and tell myself that I can't do things sometimes, and that doesn't help. So I've started to address that. I've started to read more books. I've started to speak to my mentors about those things to build up my own resilience, to get strong. It's what we know about ourselves, what we teach ourselves, and how we position ourselves that's going to make the difference. And really focusing on my roots, growing my roots deep so that I can stand when it gets difficult.
We had equity investors in the form of Lehman Brothers, and we had debt investors in the form of the Royal Bank of Scotland. And they both went bust between September 2008 and February 2009. And as a startup, at one point, we only had 2 weeks of cash left in the business. I had spent a couple of years building a great team around me, and I had to make all of my team redundant, save one. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about business. There's no substitute for spending time with God, in prayer, in reflection, reading the Bible. And even when the pressure's on, the best investment is to spend time with our Father. It's very easy to say do the right thing, but when you're under pressure and you're trying to save a business, you will need the courage to make some tough decisions and courage to do morally the right thing. Treating people as you would like to be treated yourself in those periods is being really clear about boundaries. It's very easy to work very long hours and try and solve everything. But ultimately we can't solve everything. And I think it's important to keep boundaries, to look after your own health, to spend time with your family, because guess what? The business you're trying to save actually might not be here in 100 years' time anyway. Sometimes you can't see where the thing will end, and you literally just have to put one foot in front of the other and have faith in God, even if you haven't got clarity on what the outcome will be.
And you've had to make difficult decisions that other people don't agree with, and that you've been able to dig in and stand your ground in that place. I think I've had to work in some environments that have been quite toxic previously, where I haven't really felt that my contribution fitted the culture that I was in. I was leading in an environment that felt like quite a difficult fit, but it wasn't time to leave. And I really had to show resilience to find my place in that environment and find what the Lord had as my assignment in quite a difficult environment. My job is to cheerlead other people, but sometimes I have to keep going, that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm pursuing the right thing. When my mind is saying to me, who do you think you are? I have to show resilience and get up and keep making progress in the things that are on my plate to do. It's something that grows. The more we face challenges, the more we grow our resilience, and we remember that I faced that challenge and I got through it, so I can face the next one with the Lord alongside me.
And what I do is that I have a toolbox in my mind, but it's written out in a journal of all the things that I need to do when I'm feeling down or I feel like giving up. There's particular scriptures in there, like anchor scriptures, I call them, like Proverbs 3 verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. And running, going to the gym, certain food that I like. But the fundamental thing that I do is I'm always transparent. Don't be fake. If you're leading and bleeding, let people know. Because actually people connect with our vulnerabilities more than our strengths. Because I feel that when they see that vulnerability, they see that scar in me, they're able to see that I'm relatable, I'm real, I'm touchable. Like when I've gone through financial challenges and I've been very open on social media about it. I've talked about having bailiffs visit me. I've talked about real life stuff, and it helps me with my resilience as well. And I think it just helps people to understand that life ain't easy, but for those who are Christian, know that we can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me. But that doesn't mean that we don't have days where we feel like giving up and throwing in the towel. And I feel that we need to testify more about some of the things that we're going through. And then when people see us come through, they can like glorify our Father who's in heaven and think, wow, how did they get through that? Well, we know it's because of our Father, innit? Who's in heaven.